It is the final regular season installment of the Louisville, Indianapolis Proximity Association football contest. Most of the first three have gone the way of Lou City this season. Tonight, the Indy 11 look to seek revenge and, more importantly, reclaim the top spot in the Group E standings. Speaking of, with a victory on Saturday night, Lou City jumped back over Indy for first place. Indy now 4 points clear of the final playoff spot coming out of Group E, and everybody's got just 4 matches left to play. With that as the backdrop, we welcome you to Indy 11 Soccer here on My Indy TV and ESPN Plus. Alongside Brad Hodder, Greg Rakestraw with you. Brad, is it possible for either of these teams to overstate the importance of tonight's match?
Not at this point in the season. No, this one is absolutely massive.
The Indy 11 were looking forward to hosting Lou City here 11 days ago. It did not go how the home side thought it would. Lou City found the back of the net 3 times before the halftime break.
Yeah, and you know what? When you're playing with this level of confidence and this level of belief, the ball always seems to wind up bouncing in the right direction for you. And that's what happened on all 3 of these goals.
Speedy Williams, Corbin Bone, Napo, Masoso to make it 3-0. Indy would peel one back by halftime, and not surprisingly, it was Tyler Pasher, who has scored in 5 of the last 6 matches versus Lou City. And in the month of August, had all of the goals for the Indy 11. We didn't play on Wednesday against Sporting Kansas City, too. Other players had to step up, and 2 young forwards did. First Nick Moon, then Jeremy Raffanello.
Yeah, we've been talking for the past 4 weeks that somebody has to step into that role. And Nick Moon, who's been bouncing around the goal all season, got his second one. And then how about the kid Raffanello finishing that tough ball back post?
Rafa's first professional goal. You see the reaction of his teammates. Turned out to be the game winner as Indy got all 3 some 7 days ago. Time now for our starting lineup, presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. And of note, Tyler Pasher didn't play last Wednesday. He is available for selection off the bench. Neville Hackshaw is playing back in the starting lineup after being off last week. And Cam Lindley gets a little more forward tonight.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting because Lindley's been used mostly as an outside wide player in the midfield. He goes back to his natural spot now.
For Lou City, they played Saturday. They play again Saturday. There's no such thing as squad rotation with what's on the line tonight. All the regulars on the field for head coach John Hackworth. LIP, AFC, 7 of 9 points so far have gone the way of the team from the other side of the Ohio River. Indy tries to bring all 3 points home this evening. Indy 11, Lou City. You're watching on My Indy TV and ESPN Plus.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets rang loud, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Fans, please remember to practice social distancing here at Lucas Oil Stadium tonight. Please wear your face masks at all times. Stay 6 feet apart from one another. Follow all floor markings and sit only in your reserved seats. Thanks for helping us make game day a safe and enjoyable experience for everyone.
Indy 11 Soccer is brought to you by Community Health. Dream big, work hard, finish strong. Community Health Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. And by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, proud to be the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. On the sidelines for the Indy 11 in his third season as the head coach of Indy, it is Martin Running. His top assistant, Juan Guerra, located to his left. On the opposite bench, it is John Hackworth for Lou City FC. And Louisville doing what they have done under James O'Connor, and that is play their best soccer late. They have had 10-game unbeaten streaks in each of the last 2 years. Right now, it is 7 in a row since being beaten by Sporting Kansas City 2-1 at home on July 29th.
Yeah, they're clicking. They've always been a confident franchise just by the way that they run things, and you could see that early on, even when they were struggling, the level of composure and confidence they have. But I was watching them play last weekend. Holy smokes, it is at a different level right now.
5 wins and 2 draws in their last 7. Quick giveaway by Lou City. Moon on the charge for the Indy 11. He has been the man to provide early goals all season long. Moon had the first one 7 days ago in the victory against SKC2. In fact, he's got the 2 earliest goals this year for the Indy 11. Minutes 4 and 6, both coming in wins. And Ioze goes down to the turf quickly. He's a guy that has missed some time due to injury and due to a red card as well. And this is not the sight that Martin Rennie wanted to see in the opening 45 seconds.
No, we've talked about it before. We've talked about it when Ioze was playing against Indy 11, is that some of the fouls come because he's so deceptive and you just misstep.
That is Pat McMahon that barreled into Ioze. So Io did not play in either of the last 2 meetings between these teams on August the 26th or September the 5th. And I think there's a direct relationship there to the lack of success the Indy 11 had in those 2 games because of the absence of Io on the field. Hopefully Io is able to soldier on. You see Neville Hackshaw giving a pat on the back. Great to see Neville back in the lineup after missing a game for the first time this year 7 days ago. You also saw the trainer give the thumbs up sign to the bench saying that Ioze is good to continue. Patty Barrett stands over this one. Haworth with Hackshaw his target. Good idea, just a bit too far.
Yeah, not a bad thought. You've got both Ouimet and Hackshaw that go up for that restart, and Haworth decided to see if he could have another crack at it.
A brief look at the injury report brought to us by Community Health Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. That is not Nane, that is none for the Indy 11. It's what you want to see here in mid-September. Again, knowing just 3 matches left after this one. You see Jeremy Raffanello said Mom and Dad were watching back in New Jersey, his first professional goal last Wednesday night.
And I tell you that the goal was impressive, only because you thought Nick Moon or the defender was going to get a piece of it and maybe deflect it. But all game, the kid was pulling the trigger from everywhere on the field.
Raffanello the target here, Tosh on his hip. And so Tyler Pasher not in the starting lineup for a 2nd consecutive Wednesday. Right idea by Lindley, but Moon was just a step offside with that time for our keys to the match. Brought to us by our Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. And I'll change that. Score early for the Indy 11.
That's part of it, Ray. That's part of it. You take a look, and we just spoke about it, how well that Lou City is playing right now, the level of confidence and belief that they have. Unbeaten in 7 weeks. And they've scored 15 goals in their last 7 matches. They are playing with this level of confidence that is just at another level, and it will just continue to grow as the game goes on. So you got to dent the confidence early. There's a couple ways that you can do that. One, you can high press, see if you can break a rhythm. The other thing that you can do is you could play a little bit more physical, maybe put a few bodies on bodies, send a message that way. Or, as you mentioned, you can score early. You score early and you score often, that's gonna dent the confidence. For Lou City, you got to get the ball wide. And the reason for that, you take a look at the players they have. You got McMahon, you got Jimenez coming up out of the back. You've got Openo and Masoso up top. All four players are incredibly dynamic. When they punch the ball out wide, Indy has to make an adjustment. Either you shift out wide, and even if you don't shift, it's going to have the center backs at least looking out wide to evaluate what's going on. There is nobody better in the league than Cameron Lancaster at disappearing once a center back moves his eyes. He tucks in behind the blind spot on the shoulder, pops up in a critically dangerous spot, and you got to be careful with that.
Here comes Jimenez, the distributor for Lou City. Trying to get that ball to Lancaster, holding up play outside of the 18. Now Masoso, one of the 3 goal scorers last time that Louisville came into Lucas Oil Stadium. Bone on the charge. Trying to find Lancaster. Lindley gets in the way.
Clever ball, clever thought though.
Now Raffanello racing back to force Swahi's hand and plays the ball back to Ben Lunt, who is second in the league in clean sheets with 5. Not taking anything away from Ben, he is outstanding, but to show you how much of a team effort it is, he is averaging just over 2 saves a game. Might get his number called here. Connor on the charge.
And good tuck by Jimenez. He tucked right into the passing lane at the exact moment that Connor was looking to try and put Nick Moon in.
So Lunt again, 5 clean sheets, but in 11 matches, Brad, he's only had to make 23 saves all year.
That's impressive. But you know what? There's an art to that too, and we've seen it from Evan Newton. You know, when you don't get much pressure defensively, there's the opportunity to take your eye off the ball or not be sharp. So it's a testament to both of these guys that are playing behind great back lines to be able to be ready when that shot does come.
Lunt missed a lot of last season due to ankle injury. He is on loan from FC Cincinnati.
Look at the width of Openo and Masoso. Look at how far they stretch things.
Openo on the team of the week in the USL Championship last week for a goal and an assist in the 3-0 victory against St. Louis on Saturday night that vaulted Lou City past Indy, who was off on Saturday after their 2-1 victory against the other Group E team in Sporting Kansas City 2. 23 points for Lou City, 22 for the Indy 11, 18 for St. Louis. Sporting Kansas City currently in last with 13 points in the division. All right, so Lindley's being asked to play a bit more forward tonight. What does that mean for Cam?
Comfort. And I think he grew up in that position. He's more comfortable. He's played more minutes at this level in that position. So obviously it's a little bit different when you come back home from what you've been asked to do and play out wide. Plus, I'll tell you what, you ask a central player now to cover a whole lot more ground, put yourself in 1v1 situations, both defensively and offensively, and cover this all by yourself. That takes a lot of stress on you. When you're at home and you understand the reads, you've been there before, and your shifts are not as big, he's going to have more gas in the tank late in this game.
Sports this match presented by Community Health Sports Medicine. Exceptional care, simply delivered. And we will see these two teams with a stoppage in play at the just past 7-minute mark to come together to recognize the fight for equality, that being Indy 11 and Louisville City FC. The fight for equality, diversity, and inclusivity by using the next minute and 46 seconds from just past the 7-minute mark to 8 minutes and 46 seconds to honor the ongoing movement around social injustice and the need for positive change in our sport and in our society. What you're seeing here comes just days after the unveiling of the Black Players Alliance, an organization recognized by the USL and the USLPA with a mission to educate and empower its members to use their platforms to bring positive change to their communities. Wonderful gesture by both these two teams. The last time these two teams played in Louisville, which was now 3 weeks ago, Matt Watson just felt too overcome by the emotion of that night to take the field for the Indy 11. Expect to see him as a reserve in the second half. So this cause has been at the forefront of players' minds all season long. And trust me, there are no two teams that want to beat the other more than Indy and Louisville. So wonderful to see them come together for that minute plus here at the center of Lucas Oil Stadium.
Yeah, but such a mutual level of respect. You take a look, Matt Watson, I think his career has put him at a different level of respect. He runs out pre-game to meet with Del Piccolo, the captain for Lou City. They meet, they talk, they understand what's going on here, and you could just see the respect between the two players.
Of course, Del Piccolo, a goal scorer for Louisville in the 1-0 victory back on August the 8th against the Indy 11, or on August 26th, I should say. Now you see Matty on the sidelines, flanked by Andrew Carlton, Ilya Illich, the former Lou City man. Raffanello trying to hold up for Moon. And Lindley on the dead sprint. You mentioned denting Louisville's confidence early. I would potentially ask them to do something they haven't in a long time. That's trail. We referenced the fact that they have now gone 7 straight matches without a loss, 5 wins, 2 draws. The last time they trailed was when the final whistle blew in their loss to Sporting Kansas City 2 back on July 29th.
Was that turnover Wilson Harris goal? Was that the one?
That is correct.
Yeah, and that's where you got to get them out of their rhythm and comfort zone. And whether that is pressing, whether that is, physical play, whether that is the early goal, you got to do something to make Lou City feel uncomfortable.
Lou City has scored in the first 30 minutes in 6 of those 7 matches. The only time that didn't take place, the 1-0 victory against Indy back on August the 26th. Great ball to find Lindley. He knocks it forward. Moon had just snuck offside. Heads up play by Pat McMahon. Yep. If he trails the run, Moon's in on goal.
That is 100% a McMahon brilliant decision. Just a step at the exact time that Cam Lindley started to look to place that ball.
If he appears wiser in this match, he got married over the weekend. So I'm sure that's where that wisdom comes from. He did not play in the Saturday victory against St. Louis. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit SelectSportAmerica.com. Brickyard Battalion not as strong in number, but they got the rhythm down tonight. And trying to get Lunt off his line. I like the idea by Patty Barrett.
It's great awareness. There's one thing you talk to players about. Hey, if you look down the field, you'll be able to see underneath. If you only look underneath, you won't be able to see opportunities that are down the field. Patty Barrett does a great job of always keeping his head up. He's looking at what's available for a long ball. If the goalkeeper's off his line, I'm aware of that. And I'm also looking at the stuff that's short that can break down a team with some combination.
Great to see one of the longtime supporters of the Indy 11, Amanda Wallace, on that shot on drums for the Indy 11. Down go the signboards. More importantly, down goes Nick Moon. Foul whistled against Sean Tosh, and a restart coming for the Indy 11. That's a Northern Illinois guy taking down a Wisconsin guy on that play. Fitting on the day the Big Ten announced they're going to restart the football season. We have that collaboration on the far sideline.
I'll tell you what, I like the thought of Hackshaw back post. He always finds that little gap between the keeper and the 6.
It's Lindley that will deliver. And we met deemed to be offsides. Fans, the Cliff Bar Baking Company, Indianapolis, is proud to team up with the Indy 11 to support the Little Wish Foundation. The more miles that Tyler Gibson and Iose run this evening, the more money that is raised, courtesy of the Cliff Bar Baking Company, Indianapolis. Loon's about to restart here. He has played every match but one this year for Lou City. The same can be said for Evan Newton, who is in goal for a 12th time in 13 matches for the Indy 11. The win last Wednesday for Evan, his 70th in USL Championship play. That is the all-time record holder for the native of Virginia. Bone, the target here. Looking for Lancaster. Patty Barrett gets in the way. Flag goes up. Much as the step at the other end was equally smart by McMahon. Gibson delivers there, and there you see Evan Newton, and Evan looking a bit more aerodynamic on the sides these days.
That's the fittest I've seen him. I know you're talking hair, but yeah, admit he looks like he's in his 20s.
And my hairstyle tends to thin out in the opposite direction as Evans these days.
Yeah, and you don't look as fast as you used to.
No. Well, that wasn't fast in the first place. Gibson applying pressure. Leads to Raffanello tracking it down. Haworth on the attack. And Haworth's play has been noticeably better in the last couple of matches. He just came back 3 matches ago. Barrett and Raffanello couldn't get on the same page. This portion of this match brought to us by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. Indiana, a state that works. There you see the man wearing the captain's armband, a guy that did so for many years in Ottawa. Now on your screen to call Haworth. We spent all 6 seasons of the existence of the Ottawa Fury playing for that club in both the NASL and the USL Championship. And we're seeing a bit more press by the Indy 11. I think in soccer terms, the move that Raffanello pulled was called a do-si-do as he turned around Speedy Williams. Maybe that's country western terms. My apologies.
I think you might have your dictionaries mixed
up. A little
up.
southern fried soccer. My apologies. Anyway, Louisville gets the restart. Good looking ball here. Can Masoso track it down? The answer is yes. Masoso tries to play it across. That did deflect off of Hackshaw last, so a corner coming here. And again, it was a set piece where Louisville did their first damage against Indy 11 days ago.
But you look at what set this play up. The width of Masoso, that ball was driven into the corner. The margin of error when you've got that much space to drive a ball is huge.
So Jimenez does not have an assist yet this year. That is rare.
That's shocking
for Oscar.
Shocking news.
Went over 100 caps for Lou City earlier this year. Young man that played his collegiate soccer at Western Washington at the Division II level.
Western Washington, that's the Pacific Ocean.
Yes, sir. Jimenez sends it in, looking back post. Hackshaw will steer it backwards. Not out of play.
Good communication in the back.
And after taking the corner on the opposite side, Jimenez quickly rotates all the way over to the other side. Tosh does have a goal from a couple of weeks ago in a 1-1 draw against St. Louis. Had a bit of a charge going forward, and now quickly hits the retreat button back to where he is more comfortable at the center back position. He and Alexi Swahi have settled in now as the central defenders for Coach Hackworth's team this year. The sports this match presented by Honda and your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. How many yards did Wimet buy on that walk? About 15?
He didn't buy. He just took it.
Ioze with the read. Fourth time in 39 days these teams have played. If they were to play again, That means that both teams would have to make the playoffs, which they're both in that position right now. Lancaster could not chase that down. He was in an offside position. And it also means they would have to win their opening playoff matches. And this group matches up with Group F. The likely participants from Group F, one that we know of, Pittsburgh is the only team in the East that has clinched their playoff position already. Not a surprise. And Hartford is in line to be that other playoff team, which would be a first in their 2-year history in the USL Championship. Howarth launches Raffanello. Lindley making a run, but no channel to get the ball to him. Deft touch by Howarth. Connor carving out some space, but did not get the blast on that ball he was hoping so. Tonight's game is presented in part by the good folks at Indiana Members Credit Union. You can show your Indy 11 pride, get your exclusive IMCU Indy 11 debit card at any Indiana Members Credit Union branch, or log on to imcu.com today. And the winner of this division gets a home playoff game. The second place team will go on the road, and again likely to Pittsburgh. Raffanello defying the laws of physics to get that ball to a teammate before falling down. And McMahon for a second time fouls Ioza. Neither of them of the malicious variety, but both of them earning whistles.
Good opportunity here. First one from almost this exact spot was just lofted a bit too high, a little bit overhit. This is going to be driven, put into a place where we met. Hackshaw can go up and get it.
Again, Lindley, 7 assists a season ago. Looking for that first this year. This is his 6th start. He'll switch sides of the attack and let Howarth cycle it in. Lunt, a good read, couldn't get to it, didn't need to get to it. And then Lindley gives the foul to prevent the transitional opportunity led by Masoso.
I'm not opposed to that switch on the restart, but you've got Hackshaw and we met on the weak side waiting for that serve, and you've only got one. You got Patty Barrett, another guy good in the air on the other side. So if that's going to happen, maybe shift it a little bit so you've got more guys that are good in the air in a position for Howard's serve.
Giveaway by Tosh, but a giveaway some 40 yards down the park. Throw in coming for the Indy 11. Fans, don't miss a minute of action in 2020. Sign up today and get alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for Indy 11, then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores, plus get reminders on Indy's next match. Go to ESPN.com and click follow for your club. Raffanello. And that ball inadvertently headed right back to Ben Lunt from Del Piccolo. You cannot fault the effort of Raffanello. Jeremy getting just his 4th start of the season. Spent 1 fall at Penn State. Had a chance to play in Denmark a year ago. Made the Indy 11 on an open tryout in January. And then signed a contract with the club towards the end of preseason training.
I like the combinations they're running off of him. I think he's a guy that can play facing goal, and he can create his own opportunities, as we saw last week. But they're using him a little bit as a target right now. And for a guy who's 180, 185 pounds, he's playing like he's 220. But they use him as a target, and he knocks that ball either back to Lindley for a through ball to Moon, or a through ball back to Raffanello, or he looks to slip Moon in.
The other end of the park, Patty Barrett with some good 1v1 defending against Antoine Opino. And now Bone has to race back to prevent that from being a turnover to Nick Moon. And Lindley knocks that ball off the former FC Cincinnati man in Corbin Bone. Good look at Cam. Guerin, Catholic high school graduate. Played his soccer at the academy level before then playing 2 years at the University of North Carolina, being a young pro with Orlando City. Spent last year with Memphis 901. Appeared in 25 matches and signed a contract to come back to his hometown team in February. And he did so knowing that the midfield roles were pretty well defined, even at that juncture by Indy. Open up. Looks to play it across and could not find a way to literally get it through Carl Ouimet.
Ouimet doesn't even flinch.
Just remind your fans every Saturday morning, be sure to listen to Soccer Saturday on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. I have no idea what's going to be on this week's show.
Wow.
Because it kind of depends on what happens over the next 65 minutes of match play. But after that, I'll have a great idea as what's going to be on the show this week on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Such is the bane of having a Saturday show when your team is on a string of midweek matches. A little bit too much on that one from Jimenez. And this portion of this match is presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. We're talking about the playoff picture earlier. And the way we described it in terms of first place from Group E, second place from Group F, and kind of the reverse fixtures, that's been known for a while. We'll talk more about it after the fact. Once this attack is done from Indy, Iose sends it in. Jimenez the closest to it. Lindley,
Well done.
something he rarely does. That's go for goal himself. It was deflected away by Opano. Corner coming for the boys in blue.
So you take a look at that buildup there. That comes to the decision by Drew Connor. He could have given it to Iose earlier, but what he did was he took a couple more touches, froze McMahon centrally so that when he did give the ball to Iose, Iose had more time. Great decision by Drew Connor.
So it is Io that will take this with the left foot on the in-swinger. Ouimet and Hackshaw historically have been his two favorite targets. They are both lined up at about the penalty spot as we speak. It is a 10-car pileup right now on the edge of the 6-yard box. Ball goes somewhat through, blasted by Haworth, and then Connor was going for the ball, at least that's what he tells the referee, but probably just as okay with making contact with the player to again slow up a counter opportunity.
And I'll tell you what, that was a well-struck ball by Haworth.
Connor last scored for the Indy 11 July 29th against Hartford Athletic in a 4-1 victory. It was the last real offensive outburst for this team until getting 2 goals 7 days ago against Sporting Kansas City 2. Iose the flick to clear 2 attacking players for Lou City, and then shepherded safely back to Newton by Patty Barrett. And Hackshaw back to Newton for safekeeping. This match reminiscent of the second get-together this year between Indy and Louisville that was very evenly played. That didn't have much in the way of chances because both teams were so solid defensively. Tosh. Play it to Swahi. And Raffanello providing good pressure. Well done by Raffanello. Haworth trying to find a seam and finds Moon. Moon, 1v2. Had a man to his left, didn't see it. Now Ouimet will switch sides of the attack, and normally it's Iose finding Ouimet, not the other way around. Iose sends it in, but couldn't latch on to Nick Moon.
Everything in that scenario was just a beat too long. The shot needed to come sooner. The ball out to Iose needed to be spotted and sent out sooner.
This Indy 11 team has not beaten Lou City since May 5th of 2018. 866 days ago. There's been some draws in that time, but not the full 3 points. Barrett deemed to have got to that one cleanly. Raffanello carves out some space on an island right now. And play to the side by Swahi. Throw in coming for Cam Lindley. For a third consecutive match, I like what I see from Jeremy Raffanello.
I do as well. You know, if you've watched tape on him, you know he's not afraid to pull the trigger from the corner of the box. And that changes the way you defend him. That changes the way you defend the center of the box. And that changes the way you defend the back post.
Moon deemed to have gotten there late against McMahon. Restart coming for Lou City. So again, just for the second time in the last 8 matches, as you watch the foul here, Lou City does not find the back of the net in the opening 30 minutes. By this time, the last time they played, they had scored twice. That match, the 3-1 loss 11 days ago, was the first time in Mark Runny's tenure / the USL Championship that Indy had lost a home match by more than 1 goal. Just 6 losses for the Indy 11 since moving to this building, since moving to the USL Championship, as we have come to the hydration break in the first half. But first time that a multiple goal loss in this building. And here you go. This is updated before the match. And again, so just because they're a point to the good, a draw would benefit Lou City more than Indy. A draw maybe helps both teams to get some more distance between St. Louis in 3rd place. But frankly, both teams have aspirations for all 3 points tonight. I don't expect to see any parking of the bus in a 0-0 score by any team, or a 1-1 score as we would get later in this match.
Yeah, with only 3 matches left, the last thing you want to do is start going into, you know, the playoffs doubting whether you can close games out or close out a season. So you don't take your foot off the gas in this, even if you're in the playoffs.
For Indy 11, they have 2 matches with St. Louis, 1 here in 7 days. Then the season finale on October the 3rd. Then they have Sporting Kansas City 2 here on September 30th. And of course, you'll see all of those matches on both MyIndy.TV and ESPN+. Louisville actually steps out of divisional play for a last time against Memphis on Saturday night down at Lynn Family Stadium. And as a 7:30 kickoff just east of downtown Louisville, and can be seen on ESPN+.
Well, I'll tell you what, I guarantee you that the ratings coming out of St. Louis for tonight's game are probably going to be pretty good, because just how you phrased it, Indy has St. Louis twice. St. Louis is sitting there and saying, we got Indy twice. If Lou City takes care of the 3 points tonight, we got Indy twice. We can grab that number 2 spot.
In St. Louis's mind, they just want to see Indy not win tonight, because if that happens, Indy's 7 points clear of St. Louis. So if there is a rooting interest, it's St. Louis for Louisville tonight. Gibson did not direct that ball the way he had planned. And now here's the counter opportunity.
Great ball.
Masoso, bone to his right.
I think Hackshaw had a chance to step on that heavy touch by Masoso.
Indy now with 8 behind the ball. Sports this match presented by Keystone Construction. Keystone Construction, it's more than construction, we build a vision. And Ouimet tries to hit that ball to the 400 level. Jimenez will switch sides of the attack and finds McMahon. Connor racing out to provide pressure. And Iose again plays a real estate ball, just clears it 15, 20 yards down the pitch. Great read by Haworth. It's kind of the longest stretch of defending we have seen the Indy 11 have to do tonight. Possession has been slightly in favor of Indy, but frankly, there has been little in the way of, I would say, attacking possession for either side this evening. As Hackshaw makes a 25-yard run just to chest that ball out of bounds.
And you know, that last little set of Lou City possession, that was well played by both teams. Indy had good numbers behind the ball, and clogging up the channels, clogging up the lanes. Didn't give anything easy to Lou City. And to Lou City's credit, hey, we're gonna be patient. We'll knock it around. You'll open up at some point.
And this has been more indicative of how these two normally play each other. Giveaway here by Opano. Moon didn't get the touch that he wanted to. However, great hustle. Looks like it's going to be a throw and not a corner.
Oh, what an opportunity.
Yep.
What an opportunity.
Opportunity for both the goal and potentially, or a shot on goal, I should say, than a corner kick, but it's Opano racing all the way across the park just to make that difference in about 5 yards of real estate from a throw in to a corner kick.
Yeah, but I think you have to when you're the guy that turns that ball over. I think that's the run you got to make to show your teammates you're willing to clean that up.
It is deemed that Hackshaw touched that last, so throw in coming here for Lou City.
And I mean that with great respect. There's a lot of players that'll make that mistake and look for somebody else to clean it up. I love the guy that says, oh, yeah, my bad, I'll get it, I'll fix it.
Of course, Opano was a mid-season acquisition last year. Lucky Kasana traded away to the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Opano came to Louisville to replace him, and it's been a perfect fit. Opano spent time playing for Coach Hackworth during their days together at the Philadelphia Union. Obviously, Opano had the equalizer in the Eastern Conference Championship game. Haworth will knock that ball forward to Moon to give charge. Almost a giveaway by Luntz. And Ouimet gonna get carded. So the first card of the match goes to Carl Ouimet. It is a yellow. For Carl, it is his 4th of the season, and because it's been a shortened season, because it's been an Indy 11 team that has taken a lot of cards this year, I'm not sure we have brought up this rule change until now 75% of the way through the season. In previous years, your 5th yellow, you're going to miss a match. Before the pandemic even hit, the determination was set, hey, it's going to be 8 yellows is what triggers a 1-match suspension. So still plenty of space before Carl have to worry about missing a match, unless he gets a 2nd one this evening.
Yeah, and I think FIFA wrote that in years ago, that anytime there's a pandemic, you get 3 more yellow cards.
That's what I'm saying, though, is that this change was made before the pandemic hit. This was a decision made in the offseason to switch up that ruling. But I get your attempt at humor.
There's no attempt at humor. That's fact.
It was well made. Opano. Good double by Lindley. But the ball falls right to a Louisville player in Bone. And that'll be a corner off the boot of Carl Ouimet. By the way, that yellow for Carl was his 4th of the season. That is a team high for the boys in blue.
But if you go back to that yellow and you take a look at it, he's got to step 20 to 30 yards up, and he's out of position. He recognizes the shape and the width that Opano has. If he doesn't draw that foul there, they are in a desperate counterattacking situation.
Bone is the short option for Jimenez. He sends it in to the top of the 18. Volleyed and in. Score Louisville. And it's Cameron Lancaster. Have barely mentioned his name. Ball finds him. He scores. 7th time this year. Lou City a 1-goal lead.
You haven't mentioned his name much because he has not spent much energy. And that's a credit to how he's playing. Is, you know, last time they came in here, they were high press and he was chasing down everything back to Evan Newton. He's just kind of waiting for his moment. So that's one of the reasons he hasn't been a focal point. However, a guy like Cameron Lancaster, you cannot leave alone in the box. That is, you got to have eyes on him at all times. If there's a breakdown in play, if there's a miscleared ball and the ball's coming back in, he's the first guy you look for.
We talked about bounces the last two times, or the last time these teams played, how the bounces went Louisville's way. There is another one where the ball off of Openo magically finds Lancaster.
That comes from confidence. It comes from belief. When you are clicking like Lou City is clicking, that ball just always seems to wind up going in the right direction.
Lancaster goes to the turf. Barrett plays on. So goal number 7 for Lancaster. And yet again, Lou City takes the early lead against Indy. Lou City has scored first in all 4 meetings this year. And once the spigot was turned on 11 days ago, it kept flowing in the first half for Louisville. The Indiana Economic Development Corporation is a proud supporter of the Indy 11. Take your business to the next level in a state that works. Good run going by Hackshaw, but couldn't find Moon. Lancaster the lead for Bone. Bone looks to play it across. And Evan Newton closed the short side door, and Bone could not find the window to the back of the net or to a fellow teammate going towards that back post. Louisville clicking in every aspect right now. And they have not trailed since July 29th. Moon the target. Tosh just does enough.
Oh, there's so many near opportunities in and around the box.
So 42nd minute. And Connor goes to the turf. Foul whistled against Lou City. And because that's McMahon, let's see if there's been 3 different offenses. I think he's being told, hey, that's the last one. And 2 fouls on Iose, that one on Connor. That was probably the most card-worthy challenge that McMahon's had so far tonight. Not shown a card yet from our match referee and Kevin Fiker. Hackshaw, ball finds him. Tried to play it across, 1 deflection. Iose, right back to Neville. Moon didn't get the touch he wanted to on it. And now Openo gets a foot in the right spot. He's got Lancaster with him. Lancaster will slow things down for a moment. Enough space to find Masoso. Masoso on the charge, and Iose clears it away for a corner kick. So here in minute number 43, to the corner flag goes Corbin Bone. Jimenez will take it. And before we restart, a little conversation about what all is allowed in between the posts. Our final 5 minutes plus stoppage time of the first half. Presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Ball never got to Newton, but it was Ouimet that headed it out. Barrett. And eventually that's off a Louisville player. Good. Lindley to the trick.
Good hustle.
Keystone Construction is a proud supporter of the Indy 11. It's more than construction. We build a vision. I would think 2, maybe 3 minutes of added time before halftime. So get to the closing seconds. That'll be a throw-in coming.
It's well defended. Well defended. Don't fall for the step over.
That might be a corner, actually. It's going to be. That's the limited piece of real estate that we can't see with our own eyes here at Lucas Oil Stadium for our wonderful broadcast position at the 50-yard line of the football field.
You equalize here, that changes everything.
And it was a penalty before halftime that at least got one for the Indy 11. And these teams saw each other 11 days ago. Iose looking back post, headed, but up and over the frame. It was the best chance for the Indy 11 so far to belong to Nick Moon.
I'll tell you what, well designed. You clump all the players. Everybody steps a little bit forward. One guy drops deep. The ball clears the group. I think you give Nick Moon 5 more shots at that. The next 5 are going in.
So as you can see, 3 minutes of added time. Barrett plays a route 1 ball. And Cam Lindley's about 5'8". He got that boot to about 6'3" to settle that one. Openo couldn't track down that offering from Oscar Jimenez. As it stands now, Lou City 4 points clear of Indy. Indy 4 points clear of St. Louis. But there's a lot of soccer left to be played.
Good read by Tosh.
Tosh sends it in, and Newton had all the angles covered, and now will quickly restart in the other direction.
I like the thought. You got Tosh pulled up. Why not go weak side, see if you can get a fast break?
Haworth does exactly that. Castro doing a good job of applying defensive pressure for Indy, making those touches not easy for the backs to give to one another. .30 seconds or so remaining in half number 1. Now, not the scenario that Martin Rennie had envisioned, but better off than last time. And that will be a corner. And do you take the chance with just seconds left of kind of overloading the box here if you're Indy?
I love the ball by Ouimet that set this up, but I don't think you can trust at this point that there's 30 seconds left, and you got to play it somewhat honestly.
Now more numbers coming forward here. Lindley sends it in. The back heel flick. It'll be one more time, and it better be quick for the Indy 11 as we are past that 3-minute mark. Needs to be on target and sent in quickly. One more time, Lindley. And a foul given by Indy in trying to clear position. Ouimet and Lancaster collide, and that is the end of half number 1. Again, down a goal, but at the same time, I think you're overall happy with the level of play if you're head coach Martin Rennie.
Yeah, you're happy. I think one of the things you're disappointed with is you hardly mentioned Nick Moon or Raffanello that last 20 minutes. And so you're a little less effective the later part of that half in finding them the ball and in finding space for them.
And now the question becomes, at what point in the second half do we see Tyler Pasher? 8 of the 9 goals scored for the Indy 11. We'll answer that question coming up in half number 2. Coming up at halftime, we'll take you around the USL Championship with highlights and news and notes. That comes your way next on My Indy TV.
Oakland, the town.
A world-class city where it's not just about where you're going,
But it's also where you come from. See, here, there's always room at the top.
Absolutely gorgeous night in downtown Indianapolis. Not the scoreline the Indy 11 want to see. There's time to work on it. Cameron Lancaster, 7th of the season, has given Lou City a 1-0 advantage in this rivalry contest. Greg Rakestraw, Brad Hunter with you on My Indy TV and ESPN+. Time now for our news and notes around the league. The Oakland Roots announced yesterday they'll make the jump from NISA to the USL Championship in the Western Conference a season from now. More on them in a moment. Congratulations to Pittsburgh and their head coach. He's done a tremendous job in Bob Lilly. They are playoff bound for a 3rd consecutive season. And a familiar name doing familiar things. Dane Kelly. He had a hat trick and now a brace, and he's up to 10 goals scored this season in the race for the Golden Boots. Now here's more from elsewhere around the USL Championship.
Oakland, the town.
a world-class city where it's not just about where you're going,
But it's also where you come from. See, here, there's always room at the top.
where sky's the limit.
But roots help keep you grounded. And this is town business. If you know, you know. Some might say it's rough around the edges.
But we all know that the flavors are in the margins. It's a family affair out here.
It's all eyes on we.
Hold it down for the people holding you up. These things matter to us.
It is Let's Go Oakland over and over and over again, where East Oakland and West Oakland meet.
Show the town love.
And the town will love you back. Oakland, forever.
The United Soccer League and its 47th championship in League One clubs stand united in support of diversity, inclusivity, equality, and compassion. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can create change. Together, we are united against racism.
more of a look around the USL Championship with our out-of-town scoreboard, which is presented by Crown Plaza, Indianapolis downtown. Let them assist you with your next meeting or event. Again, no other games in Group E, but the game that probably has the biggest impact on each of these two teams is the fact that Hartford Athletic is 2 goals clear of New York Red Bulls 2. As again, Hartford is circling in on that number 2 playoff position. They could easily be playing at Indy or Louisville in the opening round of the playoffs. Rowdies and Atlanta United 2 are scoreless, and Philadelphia Union 2 early a 2-goal lead against Loudoun United. We referenced the fact that Dane Kelly has been on a tear as of late, and you see that he has now jumped past Tyler Pasher in terms of the Golden Boot race. And one more time, Phoenix Rising has 2 players that have double-digit goals in a season that will last 16 games.
Look at that. And between them, it's 22 goals in 60. That's 1 out of every 3 shots from those 2 players winds up in the back of the net.
We certainly hope to see Tyler Pasher at some point in time in half number 2. And he's got 3 more opportunities, not just to help the Indy 11 get a little bit higher up on that playoff chart, but also the Golden Boot race as well. Again, 2 more Wednesday night home games at Lucas Oil. St. Louis FC, Sporting Kansas City 2, then out to St. Louis FC for the regular season finale on Saturday, October the 3rd. Fans, Indy 11 is proud to announce the launch of the Indy 11 Youth Soccer Program, a grassroots initiative that will grow accessibility to the sport across Indiana by supporting recreational soccer programs at partnering youth soccer clubs. Launch with 4 member clubs, but not stopping there. If your program is interested, visit indy11.com/rec-program. Look at our score at halftime. 1-0. Lou City leads Indy 11. Stats, highlights, and more comes your way next here on My Indy TV.
On the sideline has indicated that a minimum of 5 are available We're all in this together. Find the blood drive and learn more. RedCrossBlood.org.
Once again, back inside Lucas Oil Stadium. Second half action moments away here on My Indy TV and ESPN+. Song remains the same for the Indy 11. They trail Lou City by a score of 1-0. Back inside the broadcast booth alongside Brad Hodder. Greg Rakestraw with you. Brad, your overall thoughts on the opening 45 minutes?
I thought it was good. You had some good attacking moments in and around the box. The thing that's missing is that final touch, that final execution.
As you will see in the highlights, not a lot of shots to show you. They're just 1 goal to show you. A lot of midfield battle, and again, both teams have been aggressive, but both teams have largely been with their opponents step for step.
Yeah, and you know, when you have matches like this, that both teams are not stretching too far out, taking too many risks, it's because they both realize what's at stake in this match.
A couple of turnovers made by Lou City in their own end, but not exactly in a position where Indy 11 can do much in the way of damage.
No, and some good opportunities just created either by careless turnovers or some good reads.
The best look for Indy 11 came on a late corner. Here's the goal for Louisville again. I believe that was a shot, not a pass. You may be able to differ, but Lancaster was ready for it regardless.
No, 100% agree.
Moon lifts it up and over the bar. The best look the Indy 11 had, but it does not find the back of the net. Here's a look at our first half stats. Again, Louisville had the better of the possession. And to show you kind of the tenor of the match, both teams have one shot on target so far.
Yeah, I mean, you're creating opportunities. You look at the offsides. You've been, leaning on that line for the entire game. You got 5 shots. The possession, I think, has a lot to do with the fact that Indy was getting so many numbers behind the ball that Lou City was just knocking around looking for a seam.
Let's go quickly to the sidelines where head coach Mark Running is joining us now. Coach, a very evenly played first half. They happen to have the break that gave them the first goal. Overall, your thoughts on half number 1?
Yeah, I feel like we're really unfortunate to be trailing at half-time. I think we played well there. We had lots of good opportunities. We need to pull the trigger and have those shots when they come. We're very unfortunate on the goal that we lost, so it's just something we need to put behind us now and really put in a great half in the second half. As I say, I feel like we're really unfortunate to be trailing at the moment.
Obviously, you've got an ace in the hole that you can play at some point in the second half. What sort of role do you expect Tyler Pasha to have in half number 2?
Yeah, I think hopefully a very big one.
Coach, thanks for the time. We'll see you after the match.
Okay, thank you.
Head coach Martin Running of the Indy 11 joining us. And again, back up in the broadcast booth, Greg Rakestraw and Brad Hodder. Again, we have rarely seen Pasher as a sub the last couple of years. But, Brad, I can think back to a late season match against Tampa Bay on the road a year ago where Indy stole a point because of Pasher being inserted into the game in half number 2. You got to expect we'll see him sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and the energy and pace that he brings is great. Now imagine 90 minutes of energy and pace compressed into 30 or 40 minutes, how he's able to chase down every ball because of the reduced minutes expected tonight.
On the flip side, if you're John Hackworth, anything you want to see your team change in half number 2?
I think you want to clean up those turnovers in the middle and back third. Those are the only things that have really created some opportunities for Indy 11. Other than that, I think you're playing the way Lou City plays.
There you see John Hackworth heading back towards the bench for half number 2. Again, Lou City, they have been at least to the conference championship game every year for their 5-year existence. They have made the USL Cup final in each of the last 3 seasons, winning it in 17 and 18. And here are the updated standings again. If this match result holds to the form it's in right now, 1-0 in favor of Lou City. Lou City 26 points, Indy 22, St. Louis 18, and Sporting Kansas City 13. Again, St. Louis plays Indy twice, so that last spot could come down to what happens here next Wednesday and potentially in St. Louis on October the 3rd.
And I'd say the psychological difficulty of leading as long as you have and then putting yourself into a position where you're now fighting for that number 2 spot is a difficult thing to knock out of your mind.
But first things first, you have a chance to stay in that number 1 spot if you're the Indy 11 or get back to it. But scoring 2 against Louisville is never easy. In fact, Indy has never scored more than 2 against Louisville. Did it in a U.S. Open Cup victory back in 2016. Did it in a 2-2 draw in Louisville in August of 2018. 1 is nice, 2 is better if you're the Indy 11. No changes for the Indy 11 to begin half number 2, which means that both teams have the full complement of 5 subs at their discretion before we start half number 2. Players are ready. I think our referee is ready as well. And off we go. Half number 2, final installment of the regular season between these two teams separated by some 100+ miles up and down I-65. Throw in coming here for Lou City. This was a Louisville team that struggled to find goals early in the year. suffered uncharacteristic home losses like in their first game in Lynn Family Stadium on July 12th against Pittsburgh by a score of 3-1. Sporting Kansas City knocked them off 2-1 on July 29th. But there was just this feeling, they're Louisville. They'll figure it out. They figured it out since August 1st.
Oh, you looked at the roster. It's just too. Oh,
Moon,
what a ball.
Lindley, left foot. Couldn't get it through. Best passing combination of the night for the Indy 11. And credit Lute for coming off his line. Close the window for Cam Lindley.
Oh, incredible ball. But we were talking about it. You take a look at this roster, and, you know, we were looking at the struggles that they had early on, and it's just too much talent to have them not be in the final two at the end.
Last year when these two met in the Eastern Conference Championship, Indy was the 3 seed. Louisville was the 4 seed. A look at the best look of the night for the Indy 11.
What a ball. Splits the defenders, puts it at the perfect weight, perfect pace for Lindley.
Where was the window? What was the option there for Lindley? What could he have done with that, Brad?
Now that touch put him in a difficult spot with Lunt coming out. I actually thought Lunt had the angle. I'm surprised that Lindley was even able to get it across the box.
Iose sends it in. Lunt on the ground, but again, ball not in a dangerous position. Again, it's a different feel and score line as a foul called against Indy. This one goes against Raffanello. But again, down 3 goals at one point and then 2 for a good chunk of that time. We saw Indy have the better of it to start the second half against Louisville. Really from, say, minute 40 to minute 70 when these two teams last got together, Indy had the better of it.
You're 2.5 minutes in right now, and you've put Lunt in a position where he's had to come out and cut angles twice.
Del Piccolo, the lead for Lancaster. Deemed to have been onside. Plays it across and not the clearance that Haworth needed there. Although he blocks the shot. Now Opano. He missed a sitter against Tooten last time. I wouldn't call that a sitter, but did not get what he wanted to on that opportunity. This portion of the match presented by the Denny Companies, tearing down the past so you can build the future. Good pressure by Connor. But then one back as equally well by Del Piccolo. And these two teams are so familiar with one another, they know what they are thinking at this point. 4th time in 39 days they have played. Originally this year they were scheduled to play 3 times. When it was going to be a full 17-team Eastern Conference. And that's a foul against Tosh.
And that's the body of Raffanello, you know, standing up. And Tosh probably has got 20-25 pounds on him, but Raffanello is positioning himself in a way that Tosh has to push him to actually make a play on the ball.
Hackshaw finds Haworth. Raffanello delivers it back to Carl. And Newton ambles over to get it. Gibson. A good touch to avoid one man, but not the second. Good read by Gibby. Now some space for Indy.
Good opportunity.
Iose charging forward. Moon. And great Great recovery by Louisville. Hackshaw joins the attack. Headed away by McMahon. Corner coming. Tyler Pasher playing the role of ball boy and putting it on the corner spot. I expect him to play a greater role momentarily. Fans, Indy 11 Premium Suites are the perfect way to entertain your guests. Learn more at Indy11.com or call 317-685-1100. And again, you want the right foot coming in, so it's Haworth that will take it from this corner flag. We met trying to carve out space near post. Back post, and Lute watches it go all the way over harmlessly for a goal kick. Haworth a goal and 2 assists on the season. Had an assist last week on the Raffanello goal. His goal coming back all the way in March, that season opener against Memphis. Moon with the hard tackle on McMahon. No whistle, play on, ball out of bounds. It will be a throw coming for Louisville. Amongst those available as reserves for Indy tonight, Pasher, Mitch Osman, Ilya Illich, Andrew Carlton, Connor Antley. Of course, Jordan Farr, the backup netminder, who has seen action in just 1 match this year. There's no room at the end for Nick Moon. Good help, though, by Connor. And Connor clears a path through McMahon. Lindley couldn't slide it past 2 defenders.
And that's the last 2 times that Moon has been isolated on the outside. He's tried to cut into the middle, and that's allowed another defender to come and help the pressing defender. Love to see him just use his pace and see if he can't get around the edge.
Ball finds Haworth outside of the 18. Speedy Williams got there first for Louisville. Lindley steers it to Haworth. Haworth. Jimenez gets in the way. Corner coming. And Ioze will head that direction. Haworth will leave it for him.
Good opportunity to equalize here. You got the right guy that can serve the ball to the exact spot that's needed.
Ioze sends it in. Lunt the punch. Ball headed down, but Barrett too much on it, and now Lunt will try to launch the counter to Corbin Bone. Last touch off of Lindley. Throw in coming here for Louisville. For standing stats on the latest league news, be sure to visit uslsoccer.com. Louisville had not won in this building until 11 days ago. That was only their 3rd time they had played here at Lucas Oil. One of just 6 losses the Indy 11 have had in 43 matches before tonight. Had 4 of them in 2018, now 2 of them this year. McMahon joins the fray. And Masoso. It's a turned around by Ioze into the stands. Throw in coming for Louisville. Ioze will turn 35 in 2 months. The blast doesn't get through. Barrett got in the way. That came from Speedy Williams. Ioze got 1 boot to it. Hackshaw a 2nd, and that will be a violation against McMahon. Again, not intentional, but ball found his arm enough to create a violation. Goal kick coming.
It was an uncomfortable stint of possession there. It just kind of felt like Lou City was was having a little bit too much comfort in and around the box.
Ball finds Masoso. Well done by Connor. Lindley slides through to Raffanello, but the flag is up. However, Moon was down behind the play. And I believe it's going to be deemed as a foul. Yep. So obviously if Raffanello had been onside, it would have been advantage played. But the foul against Moon is what draws the whistle. And Raffanello was a yard or two offside. That's well officiated. Barrett to Ioze. And Moon couldn't get through the two-man effort. McMahon being a part of that. Ioze sends it in and finds his target. The Raffanello couldn't keep it on frame.
It's a great serve. I mean, the way that he can create things for himself or create things for other players just calls for the fact that you got to get Ioze more touches. I've been a fan for a number of years of Tosh, but I got to tell you, I think he's in the best 11 as far as center backs this year.
Lindley, flag stays down. Lunt wins the foot race. And a little bit of a nudge going in both directions. Lindley at first, Lunt the second time by. But a few more windows are starting to open up for the Indy 11. And a few more giveaways are starting to happen by Louisville. Raffanello gives chase. And the first substitution is about to enter. And not surprised with who it is. Jeremy Raffanello hustles off the field to make way for Tyler Pasher. So the last time we saw Tyler Pasher, he scored a goal. We've said that a lot over the course of this year. Pasher with 9. If he scores tonight, he becomes the second player in the history of the club to have double-digit goals in 2 different seasons.
And I'll tell you, the connection that he's got to Ioze is next level. You take a look, when Ioze gets that touch in the middle third of the field and has that ball, his look is to see where the back line of the defenders are, where Lunt is, where's Pasher, and where's the space.
Ball gets all the way through, but Hallworth sent in a rocket, but then he couldn't get to it. Lancaster able to make the turn around Barrett. 2v2. Lancaster charges forward. Openo at his feet. Leaves it for Lancaster. Lancaster put it behind Masoso and Connor. Sprints over. Great hustle by Lancaster, but it will be an Indy 11 throw-in, and Lancaster a little bit worse for wear on that effort.
And good recovery run by Tyler Gibson to help out the 2v2.
I'm not sure if it's just a cramp or what Lancaster might be looking at. Of course, this match presented by Community Health Sports Medicine. Exceptional care simply delivered. I would imagine Cameron Lancaster is going to get a large chunk of a night off on Saturday regardless, knowing that Louisville plays Memphis and the full squad has now played and twice in 4 days for Lou City. That may accentuate some time off for Lancaster. Just grabbing the back of that hamstring at the end of that sprint and slide to tackle that ball away from Drew Connor. Well, you reference Sean Tosh. Good looking ball by McMahon here. Bone is onside, and Gibson has to play it across the byline for a corner kick. But guys like Tosh, McMahon, Speedy Williams, it's all part of the Louisville story. And that is almost like you would develop a college team. Hey, you may not get playing time immediately, but if you stick with the program, good things will happen.
And you got to have the right guys, because you're asking for some buy-in and some trust.
And the fact they have done that so seamlessly and going from O'Connor to Hackworth is pretty darn impressive. It's Jimenez. Now Masoso gives it a blast. That ball deflected. Barrett got to it first. Lindley comes out of there with it. Moon has Pasher streaking forward. Pasher trying to time the run to be onside. Moon finds him. Masoso slows on the timing of the play, but quickly the ball is recycled to Nick Moon. Iose to his left. Pasher heading towards that back post. Pasher, no, settle! Oh! And Haworth blasted over the ball.
What a great ball by Iose. That ball just needed to drop a little bit more before Haworth made contact with it. Just let it fall a little lower.
Another look here. Good read by Connor. Bit strong on that touch, but the sliding effort keeps the attack alive. Haworth makes the overlapping run, plays it across, and that'll be a corner. Again, pitch right now tilted in favor of the Indy 11, just waiting to cash in.
And you can't statistically say that this, 5 minutes or so of extended attacking opportunities for Indy 11 is due to Tyler Pasher, but with his entrance into the game, there's been a lot of space in front of the back line that's opened up for Nick Moon.
I think you're safe to say that, Brett. Iose dials it up, headed down, but off frame. That will be touched last by Louisville. Lancaster, the player that touched it last. Another corner coming for the Indy 11 in minute number 64. This will be Lindley with Iose as a short option. Lindley sends it in, headed down, and just missed the back post from Carl Lamette. The near misses continuing to add up for the Indy 11.
This gives you energy, though. You come in, you just have a head ball that goes wide of the post. You have a ball that you pick up around the 12, and you just put it over the bar. You're having the moments. And now it's just that final execution.
And Lute starting to begin the process of wasting a little time, nicking a few seconds here or there. It's a 3v2 opportunity for Lou City. Openo, great sliding effort by Connor. Trying to find Corbin Bone, and Indy rotates enough players back to dodge the threat from Lou City. Beautiful flick here. Bone plays into the side netting. Not where he wanted to do with that one. This portion of this match is brought to us by the Q. Download the Indy 11 app. Play the Indy 11 Q pre and post game. You can play in stadium, and if you're at home or anywhere across the world. Sign up and play now.
I'll tell you, Openo is such a great wingman for Lancaster because he can create, he's deceptively fast, and he can finish. So you can't overload too much on Lancaster and let Openo free.
Tosh got a boot around Moon to play that one. And Connor draws the foul. And Paolo Del Piccolo. And that's going to be then a card for the extra added effort against Corbin Bone. And the complaint in which those two are lobbying are saying, hey, McMahon went to the ground against Iose just a minute or so ago. Where was the foul call there? That's what drew the protestations from Lancaster, Bone, etc.
Yellow card caution has been issued by the referee.
And an unnecessary giveaway by the Indy 11. Masoso.
End of play.
Ball played across. Haworth, great recovery touch.
Enough.
And then Lindley goes to the turf. That will be a card. That will be a talking to. And playing for first place and 4 meetings in 39 days. This is the result. Del Piccolo shown yellow. So cards within minutes of each other.
Yellow card caution has been issued.
The time can you just tick off the match clock
FC
with Louisville stake to a 1-goal lead.
The 67th minute of play.
Moon will settle. Moon. Could not keep his feet.
No, but this game is opening up.
Bone plays it across. Openo went to the turf, asks for a foul, does not get it.
And I looked at how this game started and how evenly it was played. Neither team really wanting to create too many risks. Now it is wide open.
Lindy has no choice. Again, they're trying to pull at least a point back tonight. Still with the intention of trying to find 3. Well done by Ouimet. This portion of this match presented by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. Indiana, a state that works. Ioze joins the fray. Masoso tracks all the way back, trying to shepherd that ball across the byline, and Ioze deemed to have committed a foul. Lunt will saunter over to restart this one. Ioze, the native of Spain. Masoso, the native of Lesotho in Africa, but spent time in Kentucky growing up and then played at the University of Kentucky before joining Lou City. And Masoso takes that across the touch line for an Indy 11 throw in. But I think a foul has been whistled. Assistant referee had the flag up going the other direction. Referee points his hand in the opposite manner. And John Hackworth is not happy at the way this match has been officiated as of late. Lindley trying to launch Pasher.
It's not a bad idea. You got Pasher with a ton of space in a 1v1. It's just not the right ball.
Newton shepherds that ball across the byline. On the road, can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM-FC, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio. Featuring Ray Hudson, Tony Meola, Brian Dunseth, and Rodney Marsh. Fans of the USL can now listen to the best matches of the week, along with action from MLS, the Premier League, and the UEFA Champions League. Sirius XM-FC, channel 157 on your Sirius XM radio and the Sirius XM app. In fact, tonight's match is being carried on Sirius XM. And Barrett claiming Lancaster got into his way. Matt Watson about to enter for the Indy 11 at the next stoppage in play.
I get the frustration, but there's no reason to trade a dead ball restart for a throw-in.
Lancaster, Barrett, able to work around him and then draw the foul on Lancaster. And Barrett wants to restart quickly while Lancaster is on the turf. Lindley tries to knock it forward for Pasher. Those two can't connect. Indy really committing numbers forward here, which means if Louisville can break through, they've got an opportunity. Hackshaw tracks back well. And McMahon is also well up the park right now for Lou City.
Wow. Great pressure by Lou City. And
long ball for Pasher. Pasher finds space. Can he find the right bounce? He couldn't. And Tosh goes to ground to draw the whistle.
Tip of the hat to Evan Newton for handling a tough ball back, and then Tyler Gibson being able to dance out of a tight spot.
So Iose will exit. Connor Antley will replace him. And Matt Watson will join the fray as well. Going to replace Drew Connor. And that's just trying to get fresh legs in both positions. Take a look at the last opportunity for Tyler Pasher. And again, expertly defended by Tosh. If Pasher gets a different bounce, we're having a different conversation. That ball checked up on the turf. And Tosh, you saw in the replay, did a great job, looked over his shoulder, put his arm out to draw contact. And that changes the possession. So 2 subs remain for the Indy 11. Brian Ownby will be the first sub momentarily for Lou City. Moon taken out, and that will be a card shown to Opano. Well, the Indy 11 doing a great job of picking up cards against Lou City. But they've got to start picking up our goals here in minute number 73. That is the 4th card shown to Lou City tonight. For Opano, that is his first of the year. And Opano is done for the night. Ownby will take his spot. I think you could say that is a like-for-like substitution.
Yeah, I tell you what, the pace that Ownby brings is something that in a game that's opening up like this, where Indy 11 is having to press higher and spend more energy and more bodies forward, that's going to create more opportunities for Lou City in their attacking third, and Ownby is the right guy with the right kind of wheels to be on the other end of those balls that are cleared out.
Ownby now has been a sub in 6 of his 12 appearances this year, but he is every bit the starter for this Lou City team. Such a key piece of their success over the years. Howarth sends it in. Barrett got a boot to it. Flag went up. Antley's header was steered over the frame regardless. Hackshaw with the read, but the bounce does not go in his favor. And 2 more subs available for Martin Rennie, 4 for John Hackworth and Lou City. That next sub is having a conversation for Louisville. We'll see him in a matter of moments make his way to the 4th official. And again, Indy taking more risks, throwing numbers forward. Masoso looking to get it through. Ownby, what a touch. Bone is onside, and Bone makes it 2-0 Louisville. The passing sublime. Ownby sets it up. Bone's 4th goal of the season. And the mountain gets tougher to climb for Indy.
And I tell you, the tough part about it is you have to start spending numbers to try and win that ball back. So Indy keeps committing players to the ball. Lou City is knocking that ball touchline to touchline. Indy has to keep shifting their players over. It opens up gaps. It opens up opportunities. Ownby and Bone capitalized on it.
And that will time out to the hydration break as well. And so now you got to figure out a way to get 2 goals just to get a point if you're the Indy 11. And again, the touches, fantastic. My partner explained it very well. There was going to be opportunities like this.
Is by you committing numbers and pressure to try and win the ball back has got to be the strategy to try and get that first one back here. Is you do have to press the ball, you do have to chase, you do got to spend some bodies and some energy to try and win it back and capitalize off the repossession.
Moon gets clobbered by Tosh, and now Lindley getting tied up with Tosh and Speedy Williams. Tosh shown a yellow card. And then Lindley gets a shove from Masoso at the end of the play. But a restart opportunity here. Again, Ioze out of the match for Indy. Haworth and Lindley, your free kick takers. And again, no doubt a foul and a card for the ferocity of it from Tosh.
In this run right here, I mean, this is a dangerous spot. You got to take a couple deep breaths. You got to get yourself centered. This is a chance to make this last 10 minutes really, really chaotic.
It's Haworth. Ball steered in, flicked by Antley, saved by Luntz. Lindley sprinting over to the corner flag, trying to make it happen for Indy. Lindley sends it in. Masoso got there first. Haworth. Now Barrett. Lindley a line drive, doesn't get through. Tosh got to head to it. Corner coming for the Indy 11. Fans, you can watch Wish TV, your local news source, online at wishtv.com. Of course, the 10 o'clock news follows, even here on My Indy TV. Our coverage takes you to 9:30 with the Central Indiana Honda Dealers post-game show. Looking back post. Pasher. And Luntz able to catch that without much of a bother.
I don't even think he jumped.
He's 6'6", he didn't need to. How about the young man for Loudoun United that was the player of the week, Lefebvre? 6'9" in goal.
Unreal.
Moon. He and Wimett unable to get on the same page.
And that changes the way you have to play. Luntz does this as well. You cannot float a ball into the box.
Lefebvre had 13 saves. A good chunk of those a man down for Loudon early this week. Now Antley had it taken away. Fans, you can follow the Indy 11 and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+. Home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the nearly 8 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+ and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Howarth draws the foul on Ownby. Pair of substitutions ready to enter for Lou City. Jason Johnson and Jimmy Ockford, who was a big ticket signee for Louisville in the offseason. This will be just his 7th appearance of the season. Spent time with Nashville last year, has spent time in Major League Soccer. Moon trying to find a seam, got fouled. And Del Piccolo, if he gets a yellow, this will be his 2nd. I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to get a talking to and nothing more.
You didn't even play the ball.
And no doubt it's a foul. Fans being shown the replay here in the building at the same time that you are seeing it at home.
And I tell you, likely he's not playing against Memphis anyway next week.
Right. We expect some heavy squad rotation against Memphis 901 for Louisville. Howarth sends it in. Antley sends it back across. Howarth one more volley, but Indy had several players offside, so Antley and Hackshaw couldn't touch it. Another goal kick coming for Lutz. Well done by Bone. In again. Tries to give it back to Ownby. Hackshaw races back to sweep it away.
Bone and Ownby work so well off of one another. Really similar games, pacey, aggressive, technical.
Fans, the Crown Plaza Indianapolis downtown is the official host hotel of the Indy 11. Book your stay at crownplazaindydowntown.com. Give and go to Pasher, but McMahon doesn't have to get in the way. And here come those aforementioned subs for Louisville. So Lancaster is done for the night. Johnson, the veteran, picked up at midseason, will replace him. This is just his 4th appearance. He does have 1 goal for the veteran in Johnson, who spent time with Phoenix before coming to Louisville.
Louisville City FC in the 85th minute.
And Del Piccolo appears to be done for the night. That's whom Ockford is going to replace. After that close call on the last foul, leave no further chance to go a man down if you're Lou City. Well, Ockford replaces him.
It's the same thought they had, I think, with Lancaster. The moment he made that slide tackle and came up a little gimpy on his hamstring, it's like, okay, can we get that second one and get him out of the match, or do we have to pull him while we're just up 1?
Final 5 minutes plus stoppage time of this match, brought to you by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Speedy Williams. We have not talked about Speedy all that much tonight. Decided to give it a go with nobody around him. Speedy is 5th in the USL Championship in passes completed. The man that had the ball at his feet in Hackshaw, 2nd. Antley lifts one to Moon that, again, the bounces have gone Lou City's way tonight. They've created a lot of those bounces as well, but just caromed off of Moon and found its way to a Lou City defender. We met steers it in, but just as quickly steered aside. Nice flick by Pasher.
Clever touch.
Antley will get there first. Plays it across. Ockford got in the way. Pasher. Looking back post. Gibson on the charge. Masoso. Down in a heap. Indy plays on. And now with the ball cleared back, Masoso stays down. Barrett stays with it. And now we will stop. Trainer will be waved on from Masoso. He has appeared in every match this year for Lou City. He has started every one of them but one. He and Moon collided, going for that last opportunity. And again, you see the studs got the back of the ankle.
And I talked about Openo being a great wingman for Lancaster. Masoso has just been fantastic this season, both with his, his pace has been dynamic, but he creates so much out on the right side that opens up space in the middle for Cameron to work.
And the last 2 subs are awaiting for Louisville if needed. And Akeel Watts and Wes Sharpie. And again, if you're Lou City, I don't think you need to take the chance with Masoso at this point. Again, they play a non-divisional foe in Memphis, and it would take a minor miracle for Memphis to make the playoffs at this point. So, and there might be some significant squad rotation coming up on Saturday night for Lou City.
I tell you, the uncomfortable part I have, and I don't disagree with you, but the uncomfortable part I have about that as a coach is the rhythm of your first team.
Fair enough.
And I can't argue that I might sit some guys as well, but you get so concerned about, hey, clicking and being everybody.
Antley knocked to the ground. No call. Lindley arguing his case. Deemed to have been a 50-50 equal opportunity collision. 89th minute, 3, maybe 4 to be added on at the end of this match. Ownby on the charge. Barrett got there in time. Masoso stays in the match and goes to the turf yet again. And now Ownby will walk this ball to the corner flag. Last touch by an Indy player. And here come the substitutions now for Lou City. Sharpie will enter. Pat McMahon will exit. Fort Wayne native Akeel Watts will be the 5th and final substitution. And not surprisingly, coming in for Napo Masoso. Watts appearing in his 7th match of the season. 5 of those have been as a substitution.
Sharpie filled in for McMahon in the last match while he was getting married. He did a great job.
Want to also send a bit of congratulations to a guy that we've talked about a lot for Louisville, but not here tonight, Luke Spencer. He has missed the last 2 matches because he and his wife just had a new addition to the family. Congratulations to them. So 4 minutes of added time. Foul going to be called against Akeel Watts.
Substitutions, Louisville City FC. Entering the match 6, Wesley Sharpie.
And barring 3 goals in 3 minutes, which seems highly unlikely, it'll be 8 in a row unbeaten for Lou City. They always find their footing this time of year. Pasher. And that's going to be a foul on Sharpie. Quick restart by Antling. A lot of traffic to play through for Indy. Haworth tries to go over it. I believe that was last touch by a Louisville player. It was. Corner coming.
And a great ball, and you got 3 guys on the back post. It's not a bad risk to take.
Luntz, the punch. Watson carving out some space. Gibson gonna give it a go, but not keep it close enough to the target. Again, Lou City sitting on 26 points, Indy 22, St. Louis 18. St. Louis will play Sporting Kansas City 2 on Saturday. That match is in St. Louis.
Gibson and Bone were with FC
Yes.
Cincy at the same time. Can
Correct.
you imagine the pace of that midfield with those 2 guys that run?
What did that team lose 3 times in 34 games that year? They got all 3 wins against the Indy 11. I remember that. You can take the boys in blue with you wherever you go. Download the all-new Indy 11 app in the Apple Store or get it on Google Play. You could say that Cincy team was loaded for bear 2 years ago. Pasher goes to the turf. Barrett. Now, Indy knows they will not see Louisville after tonight, at least for a month. But you would think if there's a playoff berth and if there's a quarterfinal playoff berth, that is whom would be awaiting them. Depending on how things go these next 3 or 4 matches. Pasher rockets forward, right to Luntz.
That's a great positioning by Lunt. You know, that touch puts Pasher in a place that there's no shot coming. It's got to be a cross. So Lunt comes off his line, stands at the 6, makes it almost impossible for that ball to come across in a dangerous spot.
Luntz looking for his 6th clean sheet of the season, and that would tie Evan Lauro of Tampa Bay for tops in the USL Championship, and that's that. The song remains the same for Louisville versus Indy. Make it 3 consecutive wins for Lou City against their rivals to the north in the Indy 11. And for a second time this month, Louisville takes all 3 points out of Lucas Oil Stadium and heads down I-65. 2-0 the final score in favor of Louisville.
Yeah, 2 talented teams, but right now that mental edge, that confidence edge is falling clearly on one side.
Stay tuned. West Fork Whiskey shot of the game and the Black Orchid Barbers save of the game. Come your way next on My Indy TV.
Visit Indy11.com for tickets. We do hope to see you there. Please travel home safely and wear a mask.
Indy 11 Soccer is brought to you by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, proud to be the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. And by Community Health, exceptional care simply delivered. Community Health Network. Does it again, a goal in each half to get the points here in Indianapolis tonight. Time now for our West Fork Whiskey shot of the game. Indiana's premier whiskey distillery, and that's the put-away shot. Ownby, Bone, back of the net. 2 goals, 3 points, Lou City.
Was that 60 seconds after Ownby enters the match?
And now time for our Black Orchid Barbers save of the game. Book your appointment today at blackorchidbarbers.com. And Luntz, again, we talked about this earlier. Doesn't have to make a lot of saves because his defense is that good in front of him, but just closes down the windows. 6 times he's left with a clean sheet in 12 starts this year.
All positioning. He just made the right read at the right time and put himself in position that wouldn't allow a dangerous ball across the box.
Stay tuned. Our Central Indiana Honda Dealers postgame show comes your way next here on My Indy TV. Gotcha. So coach break, Thatcher break. Is that about right? Yep. Okay. So not on camera to the final segment. Okay, got it. Indy 11 fall to Lou City tonight by a score of 2-0. We're now in wrap-up mode on the Central Indiana Honda Dealers postgame show. Greg Rakestraw, Brad Hodder, and joined now by the head coach of the Indy 11 and Martin Running. And Martin, I know not the outcome you were looking for tonight. I think probably the caliber of your team's play, better than that scoreline would indicate. Overall, your thoughts about how this one unfolded tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, credit to Louisville. They're a very good team, and they've proved that over many years now. They're the team to beat. But I really think tonight we didn't deserve to be on the losing side. I think we played well, honestly. I think we were on top for large parts of the game. But that's a sign also of a team that's playing well in Louisville. They dug in and they took their chances when they came. They came out of nothing, really, and hardly created anything else. So it was really disappointing not to get more out of it. I really, honestly, was proud of the players tonight. I thought their work ethic and what they put into the game was fantastic. And I really believe playing like that, they will get breaks and they will get wins and they will get to where they want to get to at the end of the season. But obviously tonight was a big game, and it's been a rough run of games here where we've not taken good results. But I also want to say, Louisville are the best team at the moment in the league, and I watch all the games, and I think not only have they proved that over years, but in the last few months especially, they've been really on top form. They've been picking the same team every week and doing well. So I was disappointed that we didn't get the result tonight, but I also thought we actually put a lot into the game and really honestly deserved better.
I know that, again, when you play a team like Louisville, they are so stout defensively, you're not going to get a lot of chances. but you had some, and unfortunately, ball didn't bounce your way. Ball just missed over the bar or just wide of the back post. You've talked about finishing. How do you go about working from what's going well on the training pitch to working well in a game for you?
Yeah, well, honestly, tonight a lot of it is down to finishing, because in not only this game but the game previous when we played Louisville, we've had a lot of chances. We've actually not given up too many chances, but they've been clinical with the chances that they've had, and that's really made the difference in the game. You have to take those chances. Even if just one bounces in or bobbles in, then it gives that confidence and that impetus to get another one. At half-time, to be losing 1-0 was really harsh, because we've been on top pretty much the whole half. And then the second half, we're on top almost the whole half, and we lose another goal. So it was a bit unfortunate in terms of the scoreline. I don't think really honestly reflected the game exactly, but I don't want to